Hi, and welcome to Genre. I'm Katy,
I'm Elyse.
and today we're going to be talking about My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. But first, we have some things to say. I have a few things.
You go. You feel like you're ready. I mean,
Okay, well, I'm hot off a happy hour,
yeah.
and
So
my
that I thought we weren't going to record. And here we are.
here we are.
I had to get ready so fast because I thought you were going to cancel.
So, my friend Lori reminded me of this classic. Are you ready for it?
Hit me.
Broke Down Palace.
Oh my God. You loved Broke Down Palace. Like Claire Danes and who?
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman. And they got caught with
In
drugs in
Thailand.
Thailand. Yeah, okay.
We were joking about traveling to India where we have an office and, where we would want to lay over. And I was like, oh man, I would love to go to Dubai. But there's only so many people I would go to Dubai with because I feel like we could get in some trouble.
Yeah.
And and then Lori was like, do you remember Broke Down Palace? And I said, how could I forget?
So you think that you could get into some Broke Down Palace problems in Dubai? There's a lot of
For
rules.
sure.
There's a lot of rules.
There's a lot of, and I said that and I was like, listen, I would only go with certain people because I know there's a lot of rules. I don't want to break the rules, but I also don't want to end up in jail in Dubai. However, I bet that's a nice jail, maybe?
I I don't think any jails are
Yeah.
super nice as a general rule, you know?
Yeah. I guess
I
that's
think we
probably
shouldn't
right.
I think we shouldn't bet on the jail being nice when we decide to, do crime. I don't think that's something you should bet on.
It's true. But like I said, this is casual crime that
Mhm.
we would be doing by accident. But anyway, so I just needed to make that known. And that brings me to my next point, which is it's come to my attention that there are many people that do not know about the MTV original movies.
Carmen the Hip Hopera?
Carmen the Hip Hopera, Wuthering Heights.
Mhm.
I feel like Wuthering Heights is such a hot topic right now because the movies come out
And the press
and
tour is bananas.
is electrifying.
You think it's electrifying? I think it's
Yeah.
insane.
Uh, really?
I'm just seeing all of the Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi almost kissing sort of stuff, and
I
I'm like,
mean,
"Woman is married."
talk about the two most, like, beautiful people in the world on tour together. I love it. I love every second of it.
All right. Electrifying, says Katie.
It is electrifying, and I did make some notes here for the younger listeners. Carmen the Hip Hopera,
Yep.
starring our friend Beyonce Knowles,
Mhm.
Mekhi Phifer,
Yeah.
Taye Diggs, came 2001. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense because I remember being in high school, and it was like the the heyday of TRL MTV.
Spootylicious was in it. So this was still Destiny's Child time.
Mm.
It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, our next is Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
So Wuthering Heights, I came out in 2003. So
Mhm.
Erica Christensen and Mike Vogel were the two stars. And Erica Christensen is now in Will Trent,
Oh.
famously in Will Trent.
Oh, you know what? I did not she's the main love interest. She's the
Mhm. That's
wow.
Erica Christensen.
I did
She
not
was
recognize.
in so much.
Yeah, she was an early 2000s
Queen. Yeah.
early
Yeah.
2000s queen.
Another absolutely electrifying soundtrack. I just wanna point
I
that out.
don't remember the Wuthering Heights one as much as I remember as Carmen the Hip Opera.
I know, I believe that. It is something that I desperately loved because there was a song that I downloaded on Napster.
Well, Katie, Katherine Heigl was in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I don't think I remember this.
Yep, Katherine Heigl was in it. Oh my god, I Will Crumble. Ugh, such an excellent song. They were all musicals, but I Need All the Love I Can Get was a song that meant so much to me
Yeah,
back in 11th grade.
just downloaded from Napster.
Downloaded from Napster
Yeah.
illegally. Yep. Don't come for me. Okay, anyway, so those are the things that I have to say. So anyone that can find it, please make sure you educate yourself on Carmen the Hip Opera, as well as the Wuthering Heights original MTV movie featuring Erica Christensen, Mike Vogel, and Katherine Heigl.
They're classics that have been Mostly forgotten, possibly erased. I don't think MTV was very proud of it ultimately, but they were a moment in time. They
A
were
moment in time.
they were, something that is worth revisiting, if only to see if they hold up, which
Yeah,
who knows?
who knows?
Who
Not my
knows?
business anymore.
That was I think you just made it everybody's business.
Hope so.
Yeah. Alright, I wanted to talk about the Brendan Sanderson deal at Apple TV.
Oh, yes.
So he basically sold the entire his entire Cosmere series, which is all of his books, they're all part of, like, an interconnected fantasy world, to Apple TV. He retained all the creative rights to it. So, like, he's
As
gonna
he
write the
should.
screenplay. I just read that he'll be co-showrunner to it, so they'll hire somebody else, but he's gonna be the co-showrunner. It's not just an executive producer, he's gonna be a showrunner to all of these, like, movies and TV. I think they said he was gonna do Mistborn as a movie, and then Stormlight, that series, as a TV series. I was reading this article where this is, like, not the first time he tried to sell his, like, his series, and he's just
Yeah.
never done it before. Like, he's
You
taking
think it's
me
because they didn't agree to his terms?
I think so. Like, in the article I read, it's like, "I went to Hollywood this time, and it was great. I was meeting with really exciting people." But it did sound like people were taking him really seriously, and I think that's just where we are right now, not only in book adaptations, but also fantasy, and it's what's making money right now, it's what people are reading, it's what people are talking about, and I think he held out for the deal he wanted, and this was the deal he wanted.
And I hope that that paves the way for more people because lest us not forget Mortal Instruments,
Ugh,
both the TV series and the movie.
I know.
Like what a fantastic world, terrific series. It was so hokey.
It was very hokey. I think everything needs, like, the HBO treatment, and it doesn't have to be HBO. Apple TV can Netflix, they can make the HBO treatment of show, particularly, like, a fantasy show, but sometimes they just don't, and I really think that fantasy adaptations should be Game of Thrones or nothing at all.
But I think it's important that the writer, the actual author of this world, this universe, these characters, has the most say in
Yeah.
what happens. And that's where I feel like we do everything wrong. They're a part of it, they're an executive producer, whatever. And now I wonder if that's why Sarah J. Maas never sold.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's been sold. It's just never been officially made. She's sold her rights. I think they've gotten sold around, though. I wonder who owns them now, but Hulu bought them, at least for ACOTAR, and it fell through. And I think as part of her deal, like, she had some sort of creative control, although not you're going to write the screenplay creative control. I just think it never went through. I don't think she was willing to also settle for adaptation that she didn't feel was good enough, and she had some level enough of control to stop it. And I think with the very successful adaptations that we're seeing of
Heated
books, right?
rivalry.
Yes, which is, like, the most recent one. I think it's become clear that when you don't stick to the story, like, It Ends With Us, which of course
Yeah.
ended up being a huge drama, but you
Yeah.
changed completely because you wanted these 2 actors to play the role, and it didn't work. Even if all the drama that that has followed that afterwards didn't happen, nobody liked it. You aged up the characters, you changed the way they dress, you changed the way they talk. So sure, the story was the same, but you deviated too much, you completely isolated the built-in audience. And so that spectacular failure and the spectacular success of some of, like, the almost, like, page by page adaptations of shows and
Yeah.
movies recently, I think has sort of changed the way that people are looking at how
Well,
they
I
adapt.
freaking hope so.
Yeah.
On that note, should we get into the book? Because talk about a author who is familiar with screen adaptations. All right, so we are talking about Alice Feeney's My Husband's Wife. Remember, this is our spoiler-free section, so we're gonna talk about the book, give a little background, talk about the characters. If you're interested, stay for 20 minutes or so before we get into the spoilers, and I just wanna remind everybody, this is a thriller. We are going to be talking plot twists,
Yeah,
so please don't stay if you wanna read this book.
yeah. We'll sound the the spoiler alarm, as we always do. But, yeah, it's a thriller. It's twisty. I feel like our spoiler-free section is gonna be pretty
It's gonna be
short.
light.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be light because there's not much we can say without
yeah,
spoiling anything, but we can
I
definitely
agree.
give some character overviews for sure.
Right, I'm gonna give a short synopsis of the book. When a woman begins a new life with her husband in a remote English village, the past refuses to stay buried. Secrets, shifting truths, and unreliable perspectives blur the line between victim and villain. This is a psychological thriller about marriage, memory, and how well we really know the people we love.
Bum,
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 bum, bum.
bum.
Okay, so you guys know I recently watched His and Hers on Netflix, which is also a book by Alice Feeney, and I had said it was twisty. Like you saw a couple things coming, but the end had me twisted even more than I thought I could be, and I feel like this book kind of follows suit. So, in terms of genres, I would say this is a psychological thriller.
Yeah, I think pretty straight up.
This is also small town drama.
Yeah. There's some cop drama in it too. Some of the cop drama doesn't come until a little bit later, not a spoiler, but, like, becomes
A bit of a drama.
yeah.
Did you listen to the audio by any chance?
No, this was fully read.
Oh.
I read this pretty much on a plane.
Oh, yeah.
So, I finished a tremendous amount of books straight reading, no audio. Just recently had 2 8-hour plane rides, and it's amazing the amount of reading you can get done when you got nothing else to do, you know? So, I read this entire book
Okay.
in one sitting because I was on a plane.
I did not, but I did feel like I read it pretty quickly. It's not super long,
Yeah,
but the audiobook is a duet, which I do happen to love.
yeah. Let me ask you a question, because I
Yeah.
meant to look this up and I didn't. Alice Feeney, she British?
That's a great question, Elise. I don't know
Okay,
if
so we
I
have
do
to look it up
know
together?
that.
Yeah, she's a British novelist
Yeah,
and
yeah,
form
yeah. Yep, yep.
yeah, yeah. Who's
The audiobook was very nice to listen to. It's a duet. It's obviously in a British accent. It's very pleasant. Should we talk about the characters a little bit? All right. So we start with Eden Fox. Eden Fox and Harrison Wolfe are a husband and wife. They move from London to a small English coastal town. Eden fancies herself an artist and they move here to this small coastal town, like, I don't know, a couple months before the book starts. And the book starts, this is not giving anything away, with Eden going on her nightly run and her coming back home. You know, she only takes her key with her, getting locked out of her house.
and when she knocks on the door, knock, knock, knocks, a woman who looks a lot like her, but is a little bit older, opens the door and says, "You're not Eden Fox. I'm Eden Fox." And that kicks off the action.
Yep. And then we got Harrison Wolfe, that's her husband. I mean, I don't like him.
Yeah.
He's
Well, he's a big time CEO, like, and they moved here, and it was very clear that Eden wanted to move here. She had spent a lot of time taking care of their daughter, and she wanted a fresh start. So she had convinced Harrison to move to this small little sleepy town where she could find her art again and, like, sort of fit into this town. And it sounds like Harrison goes back and forth to London because
Yep,
he's, big
for
time
his job.
CEO guy. Yeah.
Yep, Gabriella is their daughter who, as we know in the beginning of the book, lives in London. So,
Yeah.
Eden doesn't see her much, but Harrison seems like he gets to see his daughter more frequently.
Yeah.
We've got Birdie.
I I loved Birdie. When we meet her, she just has found out that she has cancer and she's dying soon. So she's grappling with this diagnosis, and she ends up getting a letter from somebody letting her know that her grandmother died and left her a house in this small sleepy town.
Yep,
So she ends up going in the beginning of the book, sort of looking at the house, deciding to sell it, etcetera, but she has a connection to this town that we're
yep.
trying to figure out as the book goes on.
And then we've got our friend Luke Carter, detective or DCI Luke
I
Carter.
don't even know if he
And
was a DCI. I think he was just a detective. I think he really desperately wanted to be one, but he was a little doofy.
yeah, what do you call him? Like CIs? I don't know,
Yeah.
patrolman. I don't know. This dude, Luke Carter, is a police officer in this small sleepy town. And
The only one, it sounds like.
I was just gonna say, feels like this is like a one horse policeman town.
Yeah, I think it is, and the police station is a house. Like
Yeah, yeah,
like, it's just a house, it, like, doesn't even look like a police station, and he gets called to the scene when Eden can't get into the house because there's already an Eden Fox in the house. And he gets called in to and, tries to figure out what's going
what's
on
going
with this
on?
with these double wives,
Yeah.
these double Eden Foxes, and that's how we meet him, and he's, I think, doing his best. He's really dedicated. He's really dedicated to his job, dedicated to the town, but
Yeah,
he seems to be a little he's, like, filling, like, the small town cop stereotype,
yeah,
for sure. Definitely a big fish in a small pond, let us
yeah,
say.
yeah. He sure is. Alright, what do you think this was giving? I actually couldn't compare it to other things because I felt like I just watched that His and Hers, and so I didn't wanna compare it to that.
I had 2. One, I think, is obvious, and the other is really specific. The obvious one, it was just giving me British crime drama. So, like, slow horses,
Mm.
something like that. Yeah, I think it was just because of the Britishness of it all. I do think because this was so twisty, those tend to be a little bit more straightforward, and it was a little funnier than I thought
Yeah.
it was going to be, which is why Slow Horses I laughed out loud a couple of times on that airplane.
I agree with you. I would say
It was
Slow Horses is, like, pretty London, big city specific, and this was kind of like sometimes there's some ding dongs that are trying to figure out a crime, and they're, like, not seeing what's right in front of them.
and then my other really specific one that's I don't think you would have never guessed in a million years is that the house that they
Spyglass.
moved into, Spyglass, and the way that it was described just made me think of just stay with me for a second.
Yeah,
The Lake House with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock.
that's taking it too far.
But in the beginning of the book, sort of the part 1 of it, there was some dual timelines. We were going back and forth a little
Yeah.
bit, and because of those back and forths, I was like, "Is it the lake house with, Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves? Should we be putting letters in the mailbox to have them magically be transported through time?" It's not at all. It's just something that hit my brain. It just hit my brain in such a way that it popped in right there. But no, it does not share any attributes except for a house on a hill and some
Yeah,
timey-wimey stuff in the beginning.
yeah, I would yeah. Interesting,
So those are the 2 I said.
interesting.
Well, I did read this on a plane. I have just pages of notes.
Oh my god.
And one thing that I thought was very interesting, and here it is. Here's my note. Oh, so we just get everybody's point of view now? Is that there are like a million point of views in this book. Everybody gets at least a chapter in this book.
Um,
And I liked it. I thought it was like an interesting way to go about it, but because of that, and I think in a good way, I was confused as hell.
yeah, I was confused.
Not in like I wasn't following. I mean, I was supposed to be confused. That was the point, but like it was really keeping you on your toes. The narrators
Yeah,
were not reliable.
we'll get to it because I think that's something that made me struggle a bit.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, what do you think?
Um,
Who would like this? Do you think our mother would like this book?
I actually think our mother could read this.
I actually said I think she would like it. I think it would be right up her alley. It's not too
Yeah.
scary. And even for me, I don't like thrillers because I think they're too scary. This was not scary.
No, this was not scary. It's like it's definitely psychological. It definitely keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I think mother really would like it,
Yeah,
actually.
I agree.
She
And
would
it's not smutty, spicy, all that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, there's a touch. I'd give it a half a chili pepper, if any.
Yeah,
A little bit here, a little bit there, but nothing too serious.
I agree.
You wanna give us your one-line plot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you wanna go first?
Sure. This was hard
Okay.
because I didn't wanna give anything away.
I actually had to change it. Yeah.
I think, is was hard, so I think I got it, but it's not as fun as some of my other
Yeah,
ones because I didn't wanna spoil.
I agree.
A woman meets her doppelganger and probably begins to lose her mind, kicking off a trippy, chaotic whodunit featuring a feckless cop, a postcard perfect seaside town, and roughly 14 points of view, all insisting that they're right.
Okay.
Alright. What did you think about that?
I think that's pretty good.
Alright.
Okay, mine is okay. In a town where no one seems to know what anyone actually looks like, what's happened in the past decade, or what's currently going on, a woman learns her death date and sets off on a series of unfortunate and deeply confusing events.
Yeah, that's also very good. I like that. No one does know what anybody looks like in this town.
I was like, "Do you oh, this person looks like so and so. Do you know who anyone is in this town?"
For a town this small, no one knows shit.
No one knows anything that's going on.
That's true. That is true.
I think we're about to hit the spoiler section.
Alright, sound the alarm. Wee
Wee-oo, 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 wee-oo.
Spoilers. Spoilers, spoilers. Run away if you don't wanna know what happens. It's happening now. Spoilers are happening.
Spoilers are happening now. Okay, Elise, when did you decide that you did or didn't like this book?
So I liked it right away, but in my notes, my detailed
Mhm.
notes, I wrote for page 1 to 80, "I am confused, but in a great way. I simply have no idea where it's going, why there are 2 women, and what they have to do with each other." But, like, I was immediately
Yeah.
grabbed. It turns out that, like, the 2 Edens, while it kicks off the story, there's, like, so much more story happening. This is like a 300-page book. They spent maybe 80 pages on that part, and then at the end of the 80 pages, Eden, gone. We don't know exactly how she fell off a cliff, but she
We
fell off a
do.
cliff. Well, we don't know it in the first 80 pages.
Yeah, yeah.
But we know that she's been offed.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like I was immediately intrigued because 'cause I'm like, "What? You went out for a run, all you have is your key, and you come back 30 minutes later, and all of a sudden everything has changed?" Like, that's kinda crazy.
And that's, like, trippy. I would also lose my mind. There were times where I was like, this could have been,
Magic?
like, magic or, like,
Yeah.
fantasy or, like, something. So, while Crazy Eden is happening, and obviously she's, uh, freaking out, like, the cops being like, "You're not Eden." She's like, "I am Eden." She's running away, she's stealing keys, she's going to her daughters and to make her daughter, like, say that she knows her. No one knows her. And while that's happening, we're getting flashbacks to, like, 6 months earlier where we meet Birdie,
Mhm.
and that's when she finds out that she's dying. She finds out that her grandmother left her the house that Eden now lives in this small town 6 months in the future, and she goes in, meets the doofy cop, and then decides to sell the house. That's what we know. But when she's
Yep.
at the house, she gets that letter for the company. Why am I forgetting their name right now?
Thanatos.
Yeah, Thanatos. The company is Thanatos, and this company says that they can predict the day of your death. So then she goes to this company, gets the day of her death predicted, and boom, 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 the timelines merge, and we're at
Yep.
the same time. So then we get Birdie all of a sudden in the small town, and that's why I said in the spoiler section we couldn't say this, because once the timelines merge, we find out Birdie is a cop. She's a well-known and
Well
very
respected.
well-respected London cop, DCI, and she comes to the town and is now Carter's, the doofy cop's boss. She
Yep.
says, I'm the new sheriff in town, baby. Let's
Yep.
figure out what's happening to this Eden gal. Because
Yep.
at this point she's missing. No one knows where she is.
Yep, and it sounds like the last place this Eden was seen was at the top of a popular suicide spot where I guess people jump off a cliff into the ocean.
Yeah.
So that is where they have now focus their search.
So the one thing I was saying is like when we were talking about how it could be also like a little sci-fi, you know, like she slipped into like a parallel universe when she was out running or something like that. Or and I even thought that because of the 2 timelines a little bit in the beginning,
Yeah, that
and it
was a little
mixed up
confusing.
here, like, I was like,
Yeah.
"Interesting." And then Thantanos, like, that sort of reminded me of Alchemy of Secrets,
I
which I
know.
can't say in the spoiler-free section because, like, it was a little sci-fi for a thriller, I thought, like, what is this company saying that they could predict when you're gonna die? Interesting. What's going on here?
I agree. I didn't know exactly where this story was going. I
Yeah.
was like, "Why is this gal, Birdie?" You meet her and she's at the doctor's office and they're say you have, like, tumors, and then she notices it, and then she goes to her dead grandmother's house and is like, "Okay, well, they predicted her death date, like, let me go see if I can go get my death date." And I had no idea why this related to the story, like, at all in any way. And honestly, I don't really know if I still do. It kind
Uh,
of kicks the story off, but, like, it's honestly not important.
it doesn't even kick the story off, but it makes Birdie
A a
do what she
character.
does, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's her motivation. She finds out her death date, and that's what pushes her to go back to the small town because she has already sold the house. She wasn't gonna have anything to do with
Yeah.
it. Now she's like, "Nope, she needs to do one more thing before she dies, and whatever that thing is in this small town," and that's where
He kind of that's where, like, the storylines
the
converge.
storylines merge, so that's
Yeah.
why she's there, and then, of course, we finds out that Harrison, the husband, is the CEO of Thanatos, so you're like, "Oh, so obviously what's going on here is this a little bit sci-fi?" It turns out
It's
no,
not.
it's not. It's not sci-fi. It
It's a
barely has anything.
fucking scam.
It's a basically a scam. You know what it is? It's, Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Like they got really close a couple of times, enough to trick investors to give them money, but it's not as foolproof. It's not as foolproof as they as have you believe.
Kind of a almost like a red herring to this story. It's not really that important.
The one thing that I really liked about Birdie is that once we found out that she was a detective when she ended up back in the town, is that she was funny as hell. Like, I could absolutely see her being played by, like, a young Elizabeth Coleman,
Ooh, yeah.
right? She has, like, a million quirks. She doesn't drink. She's absolutely obsessed with her dog. Her dog goes everywhere with her, and it's, like, her favorite it's her only favorite thing
Mhm.
is her dog.
Mhm. It's like
She
the only thing that she allows herself to love is her dog.
even though she doesn't drink, she's constantly ordering virgin mojitos.
Mhm.
And she's
Big
constantly like, "No one can
mojito.
make a virgin mojito in this town." I'm like, "And of course not. Of course I can't make a virgin mojito."
Who the fuck makes a virgin
Yeah.
mojito? It's so gross.
Um, and even her relationship with Carter, the cop, because they sleep together when she first comes to see the house, like, this in the 6 months prior, and she basically sleeps with him and goes, "'Kay, thanks, bye," and then just leaves, not never thinking that she's never gonna see him again, but then she's ended up back in this town, and the first thing she says is like, "Listen, we can't do that again, so just stop thinking about sleeping with me, and let's solve this missing persons case," and I thought that was so funny. She was so funny.
But it's very clear she has an agenda that
Mhm.
we don't know about when she comes to the town.
Yeah.
You're like, "What? I thought you were just gonna die, and now you're back in this town? Like, what's
Mhm.
going on here?"
And then when we meet Carter for the second time, he is, like, just as, doofy as ever, but keeps losing Eden. He keeps, like, arresting her and then losing her. So Birdie comes in, is like, "I'm your boss now. What's going on with this case? Send it to my office." And her office is just the bar next door. This,
Yep.
um,
Love that attitude.
he's doing okay police work with all of these things, but she's also trying to take the stance of teaching him a little bit. And then obviously they do not abide by their no more sleeping together rule during this time period. But then she finds out that Carter's married.
Which was also like a does no one have any idea what's going on in this town? Does
No
no
one
one know anything?
She finds out because Carter's sister is the bartender at the bar. So eventually she decides to maybe be like, "Hey, does he have a girlfriend?" And the sister is like, "Nope, but he has a wife." So then she's mad about that. And I'm like, "You really could have asked that first, lady."
Let me just say, I think something that I don't like, and I didn't really know it until I read this book, is that I don't like when the plot twist is just information that the characters don't say.
Right. Well, it's
Whereas, like, in real life, like, it wouldn't happen.
I mean, the wife thing would probably happen. She wasn't asking a lot of questions, you know?
It's a fucking small town.
But, like, she's not from the small town. The thing that wouldn't happen is, of course, that she would know that Harrison was the CEO of Thanatos. That she would have known. Just expecting her not to do any sort of police work when she decides to come back into town and goes and knocks on the door and talks to him. This was really the unreliable narrator part. And that's actually what you
Yeah,
don't. You don't
I
like
don't
an
think I like
unreliable
that.
narrator.
Yeah.
Is she goes to talk to Harrison with Carter
Yeah.
to, like, get his statement about his missing wife and sits there the entire time, and we don't know that she knows Harrison.
It's like, as a reader, you're getting the information as it's given to you, but you're missing what actually happens in real life, and that's the fact in this story that Birdie and Harrison knew each other.
Yeah. Not only knew each other, they were married.
They were married.
And then it turns
Mhm.
out that the child Eden was talking about is actually Birdie's child. But Birdie doesn't know that her ex-husband is the CEO of Thanatos, the company she just went to. She did not just do a little Google. So I can understand if she didn't know the company that her husband was the CEO of because it didn't exist when they were together. But when she decided to contact him again after all of these years, you don't think she would have just done a little detective work?
This is the thing, Birdie didn't know shit. So what had happened is that we understand that 10 years earlier, Gabriella, who is Harrison's daughter, was injured in an accident that made it so that she didn't talk. She essentially had the brain of an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
And we learn that Birdie thinks that she was the cause of this accident. She gets a call from Harrison that her daughter is missing and she's driving home quickly from a happy hour on a really rainy night and hits Gabriella and sees her bike and sees her lying on the road, and that's what causes the demise of that relationship. Birdie, we learn, then never, ever communicates with Harrison or Gabriella ever again.
Until she finds out her death date.
Yep, until she finds out her death date. Eden is the nanny of Gabriella, and she is having an affair with Harrison and basically said, "Hey, Gabriella, go play outside, go be gone so we can get nasty." And Harrison goes back to work and Eden loses track and is like, "Oh my gosh, Gabriella is missing." And that's where I felt like things got a little wacky for me. I was like, "Okay, this is weird." So the mom, Birdie, never communicates with, it sounds like, literally
And
anyone ever again.
she deals with this trauma by saying, "Bye."
Goodbye. And it sounds like she didn't know that Harrison and Eden were having an affair, but that
No.
Eden stayed with Harrison to help take care of Gabriella, and
She was
eventually she thought they fell in love and just got married. And so she decides to never insert herself back in that relationship ever again, which is wacky to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
And that is where we now end up 10 years later. Eden puts Gabriella in a home because she's sick of taking care of her day in, day out because she can't speak for herself. Gabriella's kind of homebound. So Birdie finds out her death date and goes to see her daughter that she hasn't seen in 10 years. And basically, Gabriella speaks for the first time. She hasn't spoken in 10 years. And the nurse is there, Mary, who is like, "Oh my god, she's talking." And then those frickin' 3 kinda
No.
get
Right.
into it. Let's talk about the plot twist here,
Okay.
which is where this entire time, Harrison, Birdie, and Mary, who is the caretaker at the home where Gabriella, the daughter, lives, have come up with a plan to oust Eden. Basically, get rid of this bitch because she, in fact, set up this whole scene so that Birdie thought that she injured, almost killed her own daughter by tossing Gabriella off the top floor of their house and her landing on the cement. And
Yeah.
she what? Drags her body to the road
Yeah,
to
yeah.
basically be like, "You did."
You did. And then sets up this whole missing person things, and she was hoping that the girl would just
Die. She thought
die.
she was dead.
She wanted them to die. She just wanted Harrison to herself, no kid, no wife.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. She got rid of the wife, but then she had to spend the rest of her life taking care of the daughter who she
Wanted to be dead in the first
wanted to be
place.
dead in the first place, but now is just
But
injured and needs full-time care. And this plan was bananas. I'm gonna try and diagram this plan, okay? The
yeah.
plan is the following. Birdie goes to the home where Gabriella is and learns from Gabriella that Birdie was not the one
Yep.
who injured Gabriella. That was Eden. And so once Birdie finds this out, Birdie contacts Harrison and says, Harrison, you'll never believe
What I just found
what
out. Yeah.
your wife, she's the reason why Gabriella, who you love more than anything, needs full-time care. And then on top of that, turns out
Mm-mm-mm.
Harrison's already mad at Eden because Eden convinced him to put Gabriella into a home. And he's
Yes.
mad at that anyway.
Yep.
He's mad. He's like, I should have never let her do that.
Mhm,
Now,
mhm.
in the home where Gabriella is, her main caretaker is Mary, who
Mary.
happens to look a lot like Eden. So
Yeah.
the plan that's hatched between Birdie, Harrison, and Mary is that Mary will go into the house and pretend to be Eden when she goes out for a run. They changed the lock in 30 minutes. I don't know
Yep. I don't know how that's done.
how an inexperienced person changes a lock in 30 minutes. I mean, a locksmith maybe, but who was
Maybe
doing
go
it?
around yeah,
Has
go around to the back door. Well, we
Harrison
don't know.
changing the locks? Anyway, change the locks in 30-minute run. Harry puts on a performance of a lifetime. Harrison comes out and goes, "This
You
is
ain't
my
my wife.
You're not my
Yeah.
wife. Get out of here, crazy." Eden, understandably, loses her mind.
Fair.
And that's when our good friend Carter, the dopey cop, comes into play.
That's right.
Can't keep a hold of Eden.
No, he
And now
can't follow a fucking snail.
no, he's not doing well.
Mm.
So if the plan went correctly, they would have let Eden lose her mind for 24 hours, and they had one fallback plan, which was that they put a phone in the car that Eden ended up stealing, even though they literally hid everything in the house. Eden
Yeah.
broke into the house. There was no pictures of her. There was no anything. She couldn't find her phone. She couldn't find.
Lots of I mean, they were busy in that 30
Yeah,
minutes while she
that
was
30
on a
minutes, they
run.
were real busy, but the only thing that they couldn't find for sure was the extra pair of keys to the Range Rover. So they put a phone in that car just in case she found the extra set of keys, and she did.
Yeah, yeah.
So if it all went to plan, Eden would have come back to the suicide spot, which she did because Harrison called her and was just like, come back. And she was like,
Yeah.
this is so weird. I guess I have to go back. Then she would have gone to that suicide spot and Birdie would have been there. And
Yeah.
Birdie would have pushed her off the cliff.
Bing.
She would have had a villain speech to let Eden know that she knew what she did. And now you're getting pushed off the cliff.
And she's like, "I'm dying anyway, who cares?"
Yes. And so that's the one thing she wants to do before she dies is to
Yeah.
kill Eden.
Off Eden. Yeah.
Now, of course, that's not what happens because by the time Birdie gets to the top of the cliff, Eden is gone. So if it went to plan, Birdie would have pushed Eden off, and then Mary would have just gone back doing her carer job at the home.
No, no, no.
Well, no, until the investigation was done. And then after that, Harrison and Eden would take
Gonna
Gabriella
go
and ride off
go
into the sunset and be a
yes, yes,
family.
yes,
And
yes.
Birdie would be dead.
Yeah, because she was gonna
That's
die anyway.
That's the craziest plan ever. So first things first that went wrong, when Birdie got to the cliff, Eden
Was gone.
was gone. So
She
and
got tossed off, nobody
she got
knows
tossed
how.
off. They were like they didn't know exactly where she was, but she got tossed off. So it didn't go as planned. So now that Birdie was just supposed to be here for the plan, she has to pretend to be the new DCI in charge of this police station and investigate the disappearance of Eden, even though she knows that there is no disappearance. That this
But
was
what we're missing here is that a body washes up on the shore that matches the description of Eden 1, right?
Yeah.
Of
I mean,
the
that's the problem. We need to give Eden 1, Eden 2. Eden 1 is
Yep,
the actual Eden. Eden 2 is Mary.
yep. And so body washes up on shore. It looks like it's Eden 1, right? But the face is all forked up, so you can't really tell who it is. And they're like, "Huh." Birdie's like, "Well, I didn't toss her over. Who tossed her over? Like, how'd this lady fall? Nobody knows." And so, doo, 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 all these things happen. All these wacky
It's a just wacky things happen, and then the issue is that since everybody's an unreliable narrator, you don't know until Birdie locks Carter in a secret tunnel because there's also secret tunnels,
we're not even getting into that.
and tells him this elaborate plan. She's like, "I didn't kill Eden 1, but I wanted to."
Yeah, that
And
was the plan.
yeah, and all of this and this big old plan, and she's like, "And you're not gonna arrest me when you get out of this secret tunnel."
Because I'm gonna be dead.
Because I'm gonna be dead, and you're not gonna go after Harrison because Harrison sold Thanatos because Thanatos is a scam. I had him buy back the tavern in town that your parents worked at for your entire life but got sold. And so now you're gonna take that, you're gonna stay quiet, you're not gonna turn us in. And we're just never gonna figure out who actually killed Eden. That was our plan, but it didn't go to plan, and we don't know who killed her.
Let's just go to the plot twist here. So, we talked about how our friend, the dopey cop, Luke Carter, was married to this gal named Jane. And she was basically a one night stand who got pregnant, and he was just doing the right thing. He married this woman. He's raising the kid, loves the child, but is obviously fucking around with the town, it
With
seems like.
everybody.
He's like, "This ain't a marriage for love." Yeah, but no one told Jane, right? No
No
one
one
told Jane this wasn't a marriage for love. And so Jane, our girl Jane here, sees at one point, so not even can't even believe this is something that is even relevant. Sees that Eden 2, so really Mary, is going to the police station to say, "Hey, I feel like there's somebody watching me. I feel like somebody's stalking me."
Yeah, Eden 2 just laid
And
groundwork because
and
no one knows what anybody looks like in this town, but Eden 1 never left the house. So everybody thought that Eden 2 was really Eden 1 because Eden 2 was circulating, she was networking.
but meanwhile, Eden 1 is having an art show and is going on an afternoon run every single day. You're telling me nobody could spot this gal? Couldn't
I know,
pick her out of a
and
lineup, whatever.
she was running through the middle of town because she ran by that art gallery.
Running by the art gallery that she was going to be at later that
Yep.
evening. Whatever, everyone's a fucking idiot. So Ian 2, aka Mary, walks into the police station to set up the ruse. Hey, I think somebody's stalking me. Talks to our doopy cop, Luke Carter. Somehow things get a little heated in there and they make out. What? I don't know. I have
Yeah,
no idea. No
it's
idea why this happened.
because this guy makes out with everybody, honestly.
He's making out with he was
Yeah.
literally sleeping with the entire damn town. He's a town bicycle, right? So he, I guess Jane, right? Why is Jane even important? I have no idea. Jane apparently sees this interaction
Mhm,
of Eden 2, aka Mary, making out with her husband.
mhm.
And so I don't know why Jane is at the top of the hill, at the top of the cliff, at the right time, right place as Eden 1, the real Eden. She just yeets that Eden right off the cliff.
Yep. Not even the right Eden. This is not the
Nope.
Eden that made out with her husband. Eden 2 made out with her husband.
So she's like, I don't know anybody's face here, even though I've lived here my whole goddamn life.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, this girl has brown hair, so it must be the girl that was making out with my husband at the police station. So I'm just going to toss her off a cliff. Wasn't her. She's like, honestly, Eden was like, Eden number 1 was a bitch. Honestly, deserved to be kicked
Yes.
off that cliff. But
She threw a small child down some stairs, you know?
I
So, I mean,
know.
like, Eden 1 wasn't innocent here.
No, Eden 1 was not innocent, but but man, the mix up.
Yeah. It's because no one knows what anybody looks
What
like.
anybody looks like.
And then
in this town.
also, if we find out because the last chapter is Jane's chapter. It's
Yep.
from her point of view, that's how we find out, but she also says, "Hasn't dealt with the other one yet," Birdie, meaning, so she
Yeah.
knows Birdie, and she's like, "Maybe I will," but it doesn't seem like they talk anymore because, lo and behold, Birdie doesn't die on her death day. So Birdie is still alive, living in the small town.
Living she's back in Spyglass. She buys that shit back from or
Yeah.
whatever, Harrison gives it to her for playing around with this whole plot. Harrison and Mary ride off into the sunset to Switzerland, take Gabriella with them. It seems like there's some sort of, you know, custody arrangement where
Birdie
Gabriella
sees
comes back and chills with Birdie, even though we get some Gabriella point of view, which is in the audiobook extremely frightening. There's nothing scarier than a creepy child, and Gabriella is a very creepy child, and she says at multiple points, like, "I don't wanna be with Mary, I just wanna be with my daddy." Very, very scary, and I was like, I think Gabriella's gonna kill them all.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, Katie, because I didn't read the
Yeah.
audio. But yes, an
Yeah,
audio
very scary.
Gabriella would be scary.
She's like, "Oh my god, I don't like her." Oh, I can't even think about it, it's gonna give me nightmares tonight.
Yeah. Maybe it's good that I
Anyway,
did.
so it's like, I don't really get it because Gabriella didn't seem like she liked any of these bitches to begin with.
No,
She
she
just
liked
wanted
her
to run
mom.
away with daddy.
She liked her mom fine, but
No,
she
she
really
didn't.
didn't like her dad.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. She didn't well, maybe when they were growing up, she liked her
Well, when they
mom,
were
but she
growing up,
was like
obviously her mom left her, so I don't think she was a
yeah,
huge
she was like
but yeah.
she wasn't interested in Birdie, but somehow, what? Everyone lives happily ever after in this wacky ass story?
Except for Eden 1 and possibly Birdie, who might get offed by Plain Jane, who gets
Plain
after
Jane Carter.
tried to make lasagna at one point. That was it. That was all we know about Jane. All right. Well, Katie, what's your final rating?
Okay, so I'm gonna give this a 3.5 stars.
So that is what I gave it. I gave it 3.5 stars.
Really?
Yeah.
And so I don't like the fact that 2 people knew each other and were reading about them at the same time, even though it's from their point of view and we just don't they're just not saying that. It doesn't feel like a twist, it just feels like something that was failed to be mentioned.
Yeah.
So that annoyed me at the end. I didn't like that. The Jane thing, well, that came out of fucking left field. I was like, why do we care about this woman? Why are we even concerned with the fact that Carter's sleeping with a bunch of other women? Now I get it because she ends up being the actual murderer, but I don't understand why nobody knows what anybody looks like in this
Yeah.
town.
There were some plot holes for sure. It
Yeah.
felt like plot holes. The
Yeah.
biggest one, you're right, nobody knows what anybody looks like. She didn't know that her husband was the CEO of Thanatos, which is a weird sci-fi element to this book that is not a sci-fi element to
It
this.
and it's like not important. It's not
Yeah,
important.
it's not important at all, and I just feel like that's those things are really why this was a 3.5 as well. It was enjoyable. I read it by the time I got to the insane plot, I was like, "This is insane," but okay.
I
Um,
was like, uh I get it, but then I also felt like, was I missing chapters? Did I miss something? Did we talk about something? That's what annoyed me, is that it almost made me, the reader, feel like I missed something when it was just that it was never said,
yeah.
and that's what the twist was.
Wait, I'm just reading through my notes.
Oh,
I one of them, page 277, I
wait, I
wrote
have a quote.
yeah, I wrote, "What? How? How is Gabby Birdie's daughter? So is this all her setup? Double what? Married to Harrison? Oh, wow. So all of them just wanted to off Eden? This is just notes that I was like, "Oh, oh,
I actually have a quote that I highlighted from Birdie, one of our pessimistic narrators, and it said, "I I have never understood the appeal of fiction. I don't have time for other people's stories. I'd rather live my own."
yeah."
Would you,
Would you?
Birdie?
But you know what I did really like, and this was just like a writing style, is that not every chapter, but most chapters, the last line of the chapter would be echoed in the first line of the next chapter. Did you notice that? Maybe because you were listening to it.
Oh, no, I don't know if I did.
So let me find one really quick. So this is like the end of one chapter says, "Seconds later, my world fades to black." And then the first line of the next chapter is, "The future's looking a lot brighter all of a sudden."
Oh,
Or,
interesting.
um, "I'm definitely not okay." And then is the last line of one chapter, and then the first line of the next chapter is,
Right.
"Nothing about this situation feels okay anymore."
Interesting.
Yeah. I think I might be in trouble. I know I'm in trouble again. And I thought that was cool. That was really interesting. It was a cool sort of like writing choice
Hmm,
throughout it.
interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This was a wild ride.
I couldn't help comparing it to We Are All Guilty Here because that's the only other thriller I've ever read. And it feels like those twists were so much more earned than these.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was the one thing when I was talking about the twists and how, while it was fun and interesting, like you said, it wasn't like, "Oh, we figured it out." It was, "Oh, we finally got told the story."
Yeah, and we're all guilty here. We're finding out as the narrator, the main character is
Right.
also finding this out,
Yeah.
and that's more interesting to me.
And then the final twist, because We Are All Guilty Here, the final twist was that Jude ended up is was the
Yeah,
yeah,
the mom.
the mom and not the sister. And this one, the final twist was playing Jane. But that one, we cared so much about Jude and we didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah,
Like, that was like a powerful twist. I was shocked,
I was shocked.
surprised.
I was like,
So,
"Jane?" I was like, "I don't even remember
yeah,
you. I didn't even think about you after the 3 pages that you were on."
it's like I was saying in We Who Will Die. Like, I didn't call any of the twists, but
Because you didn't care.
because I didn't care. Like,
Yeah.
that was sort of like I wouldn't have called Jane being the killer because I didn't care about Jane.
I don't care about Jane. I don't even know anything about Jane. She's not important.
I gave it a 3.5, but I think the more that I sat with it, it was really more like a 3.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a short, fun read that would be a good TV show, I think.
Yeah, I think it would be better as a TV
Better
show
as a
than as a
TV
book.
show than as a book. What really keeps it from being less than a 3 for me is that I did think it was fun. I
Yeah,
thought it was funny. I thought
I
Birdie
like Birdie.
was funny.
Yeah,
I
I
really
like
liked
her
her.
character.
And I think ultimately the fact that if we just found out that Eden pushed the daughter down the stairs and then blamed it on Birdie, if that's what we were finding out, we found that out.
If when we got Eden's point of view first, that's what we found out,
Yeah.
I think it would have been a little bit more
Yeah, like, I
interesting.
think, like, that would have been interesting because obviously that one event changed all of these people's lives for
Yeah,
the worse.
yeah.
So, just finding that out and then finding out that somebody killed her because of that could have really worked, but instead it was this bananas plan. Instead, we just found out the bananas plan.
It was 2 bananas. Who would we recommend this to? I'm I'm not sure if I would say, "Hey, this is a great thriller," the same way that I recommended We're All Guilty Here.
Yeah, I don't know. As somebody whose thriller is not my genre, I would say I don't think I would really recommend this to anybody. I think when it becomes a TV show, I'd be like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Sit down." I think I'd wait for the adaptation.
This made me question what it was that I just read on the page before, because I was like, "Wait, did I miss something? Did I not know that this person was a detective? Did I
Yeah, but not in a
not
fun way, you're
remember?"
saying. You're like not in a fun
Not in
way.
a fun way, not in a fun way. Not in like, almost like, "Am I crazy?
Are
Am
you
I" Yeah, do I not know how to get in my own house? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Did I get locked out of this house? Yeah, I hear you.
Alrighty, Elise, tell us what we're reading next.
Okay, next we're gonna read Catch Her If You Can by Tessa Bailey, who is one of my favorite romance authors, and this is her newest book in her sports series that she's been writing.
Okay,
And I think Katie is primed for sports romance because she has been and still is in very much a heated rivalry psychosis.
it's true.
Uh, and Tessa Bailey is gonna be probably the smuttiest author we've read for this pod.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
So take that for what it is, just going into it. So, like, this is a little bit more of a I mean, we've read our romance books have been a little smutty, but this is truly a smutty little romance book, reading for the pod. So,
Okay.
I'm
I
interested to see your take on it.
I know it's got that little graphic cover,
It
so
does. The cuter the cover, the sexier the book.
that's silly.
You're like, "I hated that."
I hate that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, no genre shaming unless it's funny.